Good morning. Yesterday we stopped at government policies, and if you remember, yesterday our entire discussion was on basic parameters of industry analysis. Going back to basics one more time, fundamental analysis divided into three parts. Which three parts? Company analysis, economy analysis, and company analysis, industry analysis, and economy analysis. Yes. So I may say the levels. Fundamental analysis can be divided into two parts: qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis. But if I'm talking about the levels of fundamental analysis, then they could be company analysis, industry analysis, and economy analysis. Yesterday, majority of the discussion was on industry analysis, wherein we said that we discussed few terms. So I just quickly revise it for you. First of all, we said there are types of industries wherein number one, there could be a cyclical industry. And what is a cyclical industry? Which performs well when the GDP and the economy is overall on a high, on a growth phase, then these industries would perform better. And for this, what were the examples that we took? Maybe automobile would perform better. Okay. One more example could be entertainment sector could do better. But if I'm talking about non-cyclical industries, they would be pharma, okay, or even to some extent garments. So anything which is about basics, requirements of your lifestyle, or if I'm talking about food products, food production, fertilizers, all that will be what? Cyclical or non-cyclical? Fertilizers, non-cyclical, because it's not related to the economy growth. Utna to you will have to grow the crops. Okay, utna to karna hi padega kharcha, right? That was a cyclical industry. Number two, we talked about try to analyze an industry which could be subset of a flourishing industry. Don't go in only for a main industry type. Try to find out a subtype as well. उसमें हमने example क्या लिया? Exactly. So if we are expecting that automobile sector should go up in the near future, why 2-3 parameters? Jisme one, we talked about electrical vehicles yesterday. If electrical vehicles really roll out in the next 4 or 5 years, then can I say the company which takes a first mover advantage? You understand a first mover advantage? Yes. One who is able to come out with the electrical vehicle for the first time, first mover advantage jisko milega, they might have a better profitability. Okay, so the first mover advantage that we were talking about is for automobiles. One who comes up with these electronical vehicles first, they might be in a better position to have more profits as compared to its competitors. But that was about automobile as a main industry. Then we talked about the subset of an industry. So electrical vehicles ke liye what is going to be required? Electrical batteries. So some lithium and whatnot he was talking about. All these separate types of batteries will be required. Then we will have to find out companies which manufacture certain batteries. So we were having a discussion of camera, wherein there was this example which we discussed day before yesterday. I guess I just took a small reference of that yesterday also. Himadri Chemicals. I have not seen its financials. Let me be very clear on that. But he said that it is a company which manufactures such batteries which are required for electrical vehicles. Okay, so again a little bit of research is required for that. That which companies are manufacturing such type of batteries. Even there is a company known as Amaraja Batteries. That is also one of the leaders in batteries. Okay, so all these subset, this was the example of subset of an industry. Third one is life cycle phase for any industry. So if you're a very aggressive investor, you could go ahead for investing in a company which is in its early life cycle phase. So yesterday, I guess if I remember, we took the example of what food delivery apps like Zomato, Swiggy, and Dunzo. All these are the different food delivering apps. There are many companies who have invested in such startups. So can I directly buy shares of Zomato? No, I can't, because it's not a listed company. But if some listed company has invested a big chunk of its investment in Zomato, so Zomato could be like their subsidiary or associate, we could think of buying into that company. But then again, understand, it's at the birth phase right now, food delivering apps. Can I say there's a big competition right away? See, we have Zomato, we have Uber Eats, we have Swiggy, we have this Dunzo coming up. So 4 competitors where market size is not that high today. We often see that in Pune, Mumbai, this will happen. But just go a little bit towards, a little bit of village areas. And why village areas? Go to tier 2 cities also. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, I'm not sure Nashik, Sangli, Satara, Akola, usme percentage of people asking for a food delivery through Swiggy or Zomato versus percentage of people asking for a food delivery in Pune, Mumbai, I think that's going to be a big difference. So if you're really wanting to buy the shares at this stage, you are definitely in a position to get better returns, but at a very high risk also. So if you remember, yesterday we discussed this, that if you want to just still give it a shot, maybe just 1% of your portfolio allocation, you can try out how does this work out. अच्छा हो गया तो एक का 10 भी हो जाएगा, एंड गया तो भी एक या फिर एक का 0 हो जाएगा ना, और क्या होना है. So you have to try to find out what is the maximum possible risk that I am able to absorb. That is what you have to check. Okay. Next one was our government policies. In government policies, we talked about that is where we had, I guess, given a maximum attention. I guess I told you yesterday that I had pointed out 5 sectors wherein Modi ji would have his main focus. First one is real estate. But in real estate, I said again, construction right now is still in a mess. After demonetization, the shock yet has not been absorbed, has not been recovered. So we, instead of going for real estate sector, we said that try to go for real estate ancillaries, wherein we said it could be cement. Have I taken examples for all, I guess? ACC and Ultratech Cement. Then for paint, we took example of Asian Paints and Berger, correct? Then for housing finance, I said all-time favorite of everyone. Why only me? All analysts will always say HDFC. They have a very nice balance sheet also. That was about the first one, real estate ancillary. Second one we talked about was infrastructure. In infrastructure, we talked about what? L&T. That is always again a hot favorite. L&T is a very good company. Roads ke liye, he was talking about mining can be a good one. For making a road, you need certain kind of minerals, and then mining companies are important. Is there what we had stopped yesterday? Oh yes, we had also discussed about the third one, which was insurance. And in insurance, we just started to discuss that there are 2 types of insurance. One is a life insurance and one is a general insurance. Okay. So which is the company that I took as an example for life? HDFC Life. Yes. And in general insurance, ICICI Lombard. So insurance, as I mentioned yesterday, is a sector which is highly ignored in India. And there will be very, very few people who would actually know that whether insurance, whatever they have taken, is it correct or not? Is the policy correct or not? Does this really suit me or not? Many people, what they feel is that insurance is like investment. And I feel this is the biggest misconception that we have in India. Don't mix insurance with investment. Insurance, what is the main purpose of insurance? Insure your life or insure some other asset. So what do we mean by insure? If something bad happens, then we should be able to recover the losses. Okay. So can I say insurance is nothing but covering the risks which you can face. So what is the main purpose? Covering the risks. It's not investment. In India, we try to mix it up. Whenever I say that I have taken an insurance policy, people ask me, how much returns are you going to get on that? I said, it's for my life. It's for covering my life. It's not for investment purpose. Okay. So we have to understand that there are different types of insurances. There is a term life insurance, which is very ignored in India right now. How many of you have a term insurance, by the way? 1, 2, and 3. You must have a term insurance. Am I an insurance agent? No. So don't be under the impression, one more side business. No. See, I'll tell you why term insurance is not so much known to people. Because it's not promoted at all. It's very less promoted. Why insurance agents won't promote term insurance? Because the premium is very less. If I were to insure myself for 1 crore rupees, 1 crore rupees insurance, my own insurance, I don't think that the premium will go beyond 50,000, 60,000 rupees per year. That's the highest I'm talking about, 50,000. बहुत ही ज्यादा हो गया, बहुत मतलब बहुत, मैं एकदम एक्सट्रीम एंड बोल रही हूँ. 1 crore के लिए 50,000 per year. Then you will ask, 50,000 per year? That is very high. Huh? Now, realistically, I'll tell you for, okay, I can tell this also, that should not be a problem. 50 lakhs rupees insurance. अभी एक client का किया था. Okay, so I know the exact premium amount also. So for 50 lakhs, she's paying a premium of some 14,000 to 16,000 rupees. 14 to 16,000 rupees for 50 lakhs. And that also, she said, I did not compare anything. The first thing which I came to know about, I just took out that insurance policy. Now, please understand what is a big task in term insurance. Money which you pay as a premium is gone. It's like vehicle insurance. If you don't die, then insurance is gone. But so please don't pray that, अरे यार फिर मेरा 16,000 वेस्ट जाएगा. So it's good. If money is gone, it's good. But please understand, for 50 lakhs, for a normal insurance, which is like, you might have heard these terms, whole life policy or an endowment policy. For such types of insurance policies, the premium is going to be sky high. Iske kai times ho jayega, multiplied by 5-6 times also. So high is the insurance for endowment and whole life. Then why people are not promoting term insurance? It's very simple. Even if someone takes out a policy of 50 lakhs, how much is premium? 14,000. 14,000 ke upar premium kitna? Acha, I am an insurance agent. Suppose I am going to get what? 1%, 2%. 2% of this is how much? 280 rupees. 280 rupees. 2%. So even if you say that I'll get 5%, because maybe initially when you open the policy, the insurance commission might be high. 5% is what? 700 rupees. 700 rupees kab milega? When the person takes an insurance of 50 lakhs. And why do you think that the insurance agent is going to promote this? Understanding the psychology, he is only and only going to promote such a policy wherein the premium is going to be high, and if the premium is high, his commission is going to be high. So that is what is the problem in India right now, that people don't understand that you have to look at insurance from a pure insurance perspective. Then you will be easily able to adequately insure yourself. Okay, so insurance in itself is a big term, but I'm glad that the current government is at least trying to promote insurance. Huh. GIC, then United India, and 3-4. So basically, like, if you know this, that SBI ka kaise they are trying to take it to one single head. Like we had State Bank of Mysore, we had State Bank of Travancore, all these subsidiaries of SBI, na, they are trying to merge it into a single one. Similarly, they are trying to merge all these 4 big insurance companies, government led insurance companies, into a single big insurance company. So basically the whole thing is about awareness about insurance in India, which is very low right now. Looking at India's population, if proper focus is given to insurance, can I say this specific sector has a big potential to grow, huge potential to grow. And number of premiums they collect versus number of claims that they are going to give, this ratio is also generally not that high. If 100 people submit their claim, I'm not talking about just giving premium, 100 people submit their claim, barely 2 or 3% actually get the claim. Why would this happen? Because there are so many clauses in the insurance policy. Those who have taken out an insurance policy, have you ever read the insurance policy? No. Itto kaun padta hai? And this happened with one of my friends, that he was driving his bike. So he was not driving, sorry, he was at the pillion seat. Piche baitha tha. Gadi slip ho gaya, and it's not no one had a fatal accident, but there was a damage to his vehicle. When he went to the insurance company, he said, this is, so all the details are asked, that which road you were driving, which direction you were moving, everything was asked, diagram, everything. And then finally he was asked that who was riding the bike. He said, my friend was riding the bike. Okay, all the details were taken. He said, we need 3-4 days to analyze everything. Okay, after 4 days he gets a call, sorry, we can't process your claim, it's rejected. He said, why, what is the problem? It is a genuine accident. He said, have you read clause number C of point number 28? No. He said, it is very clearly given that the insurance claim will be honored only if you are riding the vehicle. There are such clauses in the insurance policy also. Okay, and that is how what companies do. So there are 2 players in the insurance, A and B, let us say. Companies who are giving insurance. A is saying that we will give you a policy of 1 lakh. B is also saying we'll give you a policy of 1 lakh. For 1 lakh, they are charging you, let us say, 800 rupees. This guy says we'll charge you 600 rupees. Which are you going to choose? 600 rupees. 200 rupees. Bach gaye. That very big satisfaction you have. I saved 200 rupees. But because of the 200 rupees, I'm sure they might have put many sub clauses. That if this happens, we'll not honor it. If this happens, we'll not honor it. And at the cost of 200, you're losing out a claim of 10,000 maybe. Okay. So make sure you understand all the finer details of the policy also, and then take out an insurance. Okay. But coming back to our main point, I hope everyone agrees that we are highly under penetrated as far as insurance sector is concerned in India. Yes. So it's a very good bet right now to buy into insurance. Look at the fundamentals and then go ahead with it. But industry wise, it's a good bet. Okay. 3 points we had covered yesterday. Fourth point that we can cover is, again, actually it is automobiles only, but automobiles were taken in. No, we have not discussed it here. Na? I guess हमने ऊपर industry में किया था. Fourth one, everyone expects in this tenure is again automobiles with government policies. And automobiles, you can just write down three very popular names. One is Ashok Leyland. Anyone knows what Ashok Leyland is famous for? Trucks. And why did I take Ashok Leyland then? Again, infrastructure and all this. For that you will require trucks, na? So definitely trucks ka demand badega. And they might be manufacturing more and more of trucks. Okay. Stock has fallen very badly, Ashok Leyland. So it has gone to the, it's a big fall right now. Okay, somewhere or the other, I feel Ashok Leyland could see a big turnaround. That is what I feel. See, it's such a big company that, see, there is no fraud in the company, by the way. No fraud has been reported in the company. It's mismanagement, which has caused all these problems. So understand, this is a classic case of buying into profits. Buying for profits, I can say. What is the problem? Mismanagement is the problem. If management changes, if decision making is improved, then there is a great chance that it might turn around. Okay, so Ashok Leyland in fact can be a very good bet to buy. Second one, again down and dusted, Tata Motors. Big name, not so good fundamentals right now, not so good fundamentals, I'm telling you right away. But industry might perform well, so it might have a chance of turnaround. So these would be where your portfolio allocation should be ideally on a lower side, if you're not wanting to take that much risk. And the third one again, which has gone down like anything in the past 3-4 months, is Maruti Suzuki. I had bought Maruti Suzuki when it was around 5,000 rupees per share. It went up 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,500 tak gaya tha, almost. And then the expectation started that it will surely cross 10,000. 11,000 is also doable. So I said, let it cross that and then I'll sell. The double profit. But it never went there. And direct reverse gear. And it has come down to again in that similar range of 5,000 to 6,000 rupees. So I'm still not in loss. But it is a very painful thing. When you have seen that journey, you get that message, unrealized profit is this much, unrealized. And now the number is just shrinking and it's almost back to my cost price, almost back to that. But again, as I said, fundamentally good company, some problems. Overall, automobiles as a sector is facing a problem right now. None of the automobile companies doing amazing right now. But as I said, this is which type of industry? Automobile cyclical industry. And if the current next 4 to 5 years, see, I'll tell you the analogy also, because we are also going to do economy analysis today. What Modi government was required to do in the first 5 years was do something dashing to prove that they are different from others. And that is why he tried out various experiments, and one of which was demonetization. And it can be one whole lecture on whether demonetization was good or bad, and still no conclusion can be reached according to me. But I feel at least some attempt was made. I'm telling you first-hand experience that yes, people, it does not mean that the black has disappeared from the market and all that. No one should be under this impression. very much black market exists. 2000 notes are being stacked like anything even today. But I'm trying to buy into, I guess I told you that I'm looking out for a real estate property right now, and I met almost 8 to 10 builders in this short span of 2 weeks. And everyone, I was asking point blank, is there any requirement that you need this much black? Because I'm a teacher, everything whatever I get is directly by check. If I'm a businessman, if I'm trader, it might be possible that I sold something, I got cash. I go to various colleges, they'll directly transfer funds to my account. I said, I can't have cash element with me. So yesterday, the guy which I met, he said, absolutely fine, 100% white, no problem. And just think, 5 to 6 years before, which builder was ready to take 100% cash? I'm sorry, 100% white. I don't think any builder would have been ready. 100% white. Huh? And he said, madam, if you insist, I'll take cash, but not more than 2 to 3% of the total value. I said, no, I don't want to insist. But he said, if you still insist, because there are some businessmen who are buying into the houses and they have some excess cash if they want to buy. But he said, I don't want to risk out, because he said, life has become not horrible, but definitely we still fear that if some demonetization part 2 comes, releases, then what to do? He said, one fine day, oh, Modi ji ke dimag mein kya aa sakta, bole humko bharosa nahi hai. Tomorrow if he says 2000 note banned, finish, that could be the very well end. And but that will also lead that economy as a whole will, stagnate for a long time. That's what many economists believe. But you never know. I mean, because see, 2000 rupees note is a very easy tool for stacking cash now. Everyone agrees with this. But the change that I saw in builders is that earlier, those who have bought into house properties, you might very well agree with me that builders directly muh pe bolte the, at least 10% cash, 20% cash, compulsory. And today every builder is saying that please don't give a lot of cash. It's very difficult for us to dispose of. It has really happened. So I feel at least a small step towards electronic transactions and all this, definitely it has taken place. What people of India feel that to ye to pura change hona chahiye. It's not a magic wand. It can't happen in a year or 2 or 5 years. So at least we are moving towards that. So going back to our discussion, if I'm talking about automobiles, definitely these steps slowly and steadily will take place. Economy as a whole will slowly and steadily recover. Why I was talking about economy right now is that in the first 5 years of BJP government, 14 to 19, they have taken many dashing decisions which were risky. They tried to play on that. They took big risks. I feel taking demonetization and GST risk in a short span of 5 years was a big risk, absolutely big risk. And still he survived, and very well survived. So I think 19 to अपना जो आगे का 5 years का tenure है 24 का, I don't think he needs to take any flashy decisions here. He will focus more on economy strengthening right now, is what many of us believe. He will focus on how the GDP will grow. He will focus on how infrastructure will grow. This should ideally be the focus point. And we have very good ministers in the BJP right now. Like Nitin Gadkari, what a fantastic job he is doing right now. As far as roads are concerned, you go to rural places. I'll tell you, I don't remember if I told this or not. Konkan, and they said we had never even imagined कि यहाँ तक road आएगा. Last weekend, I said near Y, the highway was not so good, but this newly constructed road was very nice. So if again infrastructure is growing, everything related to roads, anything and everything, it is going to boom. And if it booms, overall GDP might grow. If that grows, this is a cyclical sector. What happened in this 5 years, 14 to 19, there were many shocks to the economy as well. Demonetization was a big shock to the economy, by the way. GST was a big shock to the economy. Surgical strike was a big shock to the economy. You know this? When surgical strike happened, the markets crashed. Why? अरे इंडिया ने पाकिस्तान के ऊपर अटैक किया. People might feel that yes, we have also given some reply to what happened in Kashmir. But why market reacted in a negative way? Any idea? Whenever there is a war situation, why only India versus Pakistan? India versus any country, if there is a war situation. Insecurity. I'll tell you a simple thing. If government has, let us say, 1,000 crore ka allocation towards infra, okay, and let us say they have an allocation of again 1,000 crores for defense. This is infra, this is defense, and let's say a war breaks out. And do you think this allocation will remain same? Never. This will go clearly down and this will clearly rise. Why only India? Any country this will happen. So whenever a war situation comes into play, all other sector allocations are going to go down and entire funds will be diverted towards only one sector, that is defense. Will this lead to an overall economic slowdown? Has to. It will. So last 5 years, our economy has grown, no doubt about that, but did not grow at the rate everyone expected. Okay, and now everyone feels that because he has taken all these decisions which he had to in the first 5 years, now he can focus more on economy. If you know this, amongst all the Asian countries right now, and even majority of the Western countries ke comparison maybe, India is doing far better right now. So we must understand this, that we can bet on the economy for the coming 3 to 5 years. We can think about having good investments in cyclical industries. Okay. So automobiles, logic is clear why it could do well. Yes. And the last one, fifth one, you can write down, is, which is a little bit dicey. What could happen is banks. Okay, I'll just tell you an analogy for this. Right now, again, banks is something which not all banks should be preferred. I'm going to discuss about how banks, or what things are to be checked while doing fundamental analysis of a bank. Because we discussed many ratios, but we did not discuss specific ratios as far as banks are concerned. Right now, what is a big problem with the banking sector is NPA. And what is NPA? Non-performing assets. The more and more non-performing assets, it's going to be a very horrible situation for the banks. Right now, I'll tell you the problem with banking sector is that, especially the nationalized banks, they give loans, then that becomes an NPA, and then someone tries to take over, and still the bank is in a mess only, complete mess. If you know, last 5 years, banks have not done well at all. So I personally feel that banking you should not go with nationalized banks in next 5 years also. Okay. It could be banks where the internal controls, the policy decisions are very well in place, who are a little bit strict on giving loans. They have their own stringent policies while giving loans, but the ethics of the top level management should be good. Okay. And again, if the ethics were to be checked, for that, how to do ethical analysis of the management is what tomorrow we are going to discuss, is management analysis. See, that is a qualitative analysis that we are going to discuss tomorrow. Ki management acha hai kya? Is management honest or not? See, please understand, I can't give you any formula like we have given EV by EBITDA. This divided by this is equal to management is honest. It is very subjective. Okay. So even I had asked few of my friends who do cover fundamental analysis in some other colleges or something like that. They said we spend 50% on management analysis. But I feel that is common sense. You read a lot, you will understand better. I just need to tell you the parameters. This is what is to be checked. There is no explanation for that. Okay. So tomorrow we are going to tell you what are the different parameters to do a management analysis. Okay. So anyways, moving ahead, NPAs ke liye, problem will be where the top level management is not honest and they are giving loans to those people who don't deserve to get the loan. ICICI case, that is what happened. Videocon. The balance sheet was not good. the funds were diverted. Just, if you know, Videocon is also at a very horrible, it's almost gone. Still funds were given. Chanda Kocher's husband's direct indirect holding. Hmm? And see, Chanda Kocher was a name which every single person honored and respected. And towards the end of her career, जितना भी कमाया सब गया, एक दो साल में full everything was gone. And I personally believe that यही नहीं है तो what have you earned in the past few years? Nothing. Finally people look at you as a lady who has no ethics. So we have to check whether top level management is honest or not, and for that, how analysis is to be done, I'll discuss tomorrow. But in banks, as of now, I feel again two good names could be HDFC Bank. So if you want to write down HDFC Bank, first one. Second, which I had done a fundamental analysis, was Kotak Bank, Kotak Mahindra. I feel this is a bank which very few people actually invest into, or even amongst my friends, generally whenever I talk about banks, HDFC, ICICI, है ना? These will be the common names. Kotak Mahindra, very few people actually check the fundamentals. Had I told about Kotak Mahindra Bank in our batch? No. So when I did the fundamental analysis for the first time, I felt that fundamentals are really good. I even did some basic technical analysis also. I thought fair enough to buy into. I bought the shares, and within 2 weeks, shares crashed 5%. And the stock moves upwards very slowly and steadily, and then crash. And why was the crash? There was a block deal or a bulk deal. You remember a block deal or a bulk deal? Huge number of shares were sold. And who sold it? One of the promoters' relative had sold it. A negative sign and all that. But then, see, now understand, if I had bought a good quantity, X quantity, but a good quantity. Okay, and actually I was in tension. I had done all the fundamental analysis. Acha, is this a factor which is beyond my control now? Yes. Beyond my control. I can't do anything about it. I just may say the panic situation could be that if the relative is selling so many shares, does he know something about the company which I don't know? We call that as an insider information. Insider information first. Okay, Hindi equivalent, andar ki baat. What do we mean by insider trading? When you trade based on the insider information, that's an insider trading, which is banned by SEBI. You're not allowed to do insider trading. Okay, just as an example of insider trading, if I'm the auditor, many of my friends are auditors of many listed companies. Like I personally know the person who was signing Airtel ka balance sheet. Okay, Idea ka balance sheet also. Now, I could have easily asked, na? But again, what I have understood till date is that if I do any trade based on insider, na, तो फुकट का पैसा आता है. And the rate at which you get that money, at the double rate, you lose that money. Is what I have just tried it once. Let me be very honest with you. I've tried it once. But then what happens, I'll tell you the mentality. अरे free में मिल गया. I didn't have to do any efforts. Let me try to take some aggressive decision. Even if I lose that money, I had not, anyway, that was never mine. I'll just try to take some risky bet. That money goes. Okay, so it's not a good idea to do an insider anytime. See, हमने किया तो भी कितना 5-10 शेयर का करेंगे, 10 shares, 20 shares, what? Insider is a big problem when you do a big quantity. Like 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares. And then if SEBI takes you under the scanner, takes you under the lens, finished. The penalty could be starting with not maximum, starting with 1 lakh rupees per day. Per day I'm saying, per day till you pay the entire penalty. So 1 lakh is minimum na in that case. Till you pay the penalty 1 lakh rupees per day. Or whatever gain you have received, whichever is higher or something like that. It's a huge penalty, some percentage of that. So never ever go for insider trading. It's very hard to digest that money. It's better that you go ahead with your basic analysis. Okay. So why banks I'm talking about as a big sector? Because if automobiles were to flourish, if infra were to flourish, if the overall construction and real estate were to flourish, everyone needs money. And where are they going to take the money from? Banks. So ideally banking should again do well, but try to check that all these ethical people are sitting at the top level management. If you know Mr. Uday Kotak, he is very well honored amongst the industry people. He's to be known as a man of ethics. So he's one of the key players of Kotak Mahindra Bank, Mr. Uday Kotak. So management analysis of Kotak Mahindra Bank is also very good. So you can just try to check this bank. So 3 parameters. So all these government policies, 5 I've covered, na? 5 points? Yes. Huh? Upcoming? Like? I'll tell you, if I'm talking about robotics and automation, problem is, I mean, let me be very frank with you. Many people ask me, ma'am, what do you think about Bitcoin? What do you think about artificial intelligence and all that? See, I give them a very point blank answer. I'm a commerce background person. I don't understand how the Bitcoin really, I mean, I still fail to understand कि वो आता कहाँ से Bitcoin. I try to read about it. I'm sounding too dumb right now. I know that. But I've read about it. I know that some mathematical whatever formulas and whatever algorithms have to be solved and the Bitcoins are generated. I know that. But then I can't measure its viability. I understand business, but I don't understand exactly what algorithms, who generates that, and how much Bitcoins will be generated if X algorithms are solved. To my knowledge, to solve these algorithms, you need very, very high-tech computers. And these high-tech computers ka cost kitna rahega? See, all this, frankly speaking, is beyond calculation. It's not a common knowledge which is available. So you'll have to do a lot of analysis into that to get some results. Okay, so that is why Bitcoin was an area. I have not invested even 1 rupee in Bitcoin. Those who could catch the train, they made a lot of money. But those who entered the train at a very late stage, you know what has happened. Similarly, artificial intelligence and robotics, if you're talking about, yes, good level of R&D is taking place there. Artificial intelligence का बहुत अलग तरीके से use हो रहा है. In marketing also they are using artificial intelligence. Like one of my friends who works in New York, he's an engineer, and he said that we analyze, so he's an engineer and he's an analyst now, stock market analyst. He works for an investment bank. Okay, I just remember that 3 Idiots dialogue. पहले engineering किया and फिर जाके बैंक में job किया. वैसे पहले engineering किया and then investment analysis. तो क्यों किया engineering? But I feel still that angle of thought process comes into picture. So I said, what do you do exactly? You're an engineer. What do you do as a stock analyst? So he's a software IT engineer basically. He said, I run many programs and all that. It's unbelievable, he said. He said, I was analyzing Starbucks stock. That's listed on US exchange. I can't buy Starbucks stock because it's listed on the US stock exchange. He said, what we do is we try to buy certain data. You can't buy data from Facebook directly. But he said, we have certain channels. He obviously did not disclose it to me. He said, from certain channels, we would buy the data. And then we would run some whatever formulas and all that. And he said, how many people put a hashtag Starbucks and how many of them have posted a photograph with a new coffee that they are tasting is what we analyze. He said outside, he was also analyzing Walmart. Walmart is also a stock which is listed on the US stock exchange. In Walmart, how many car parkings were occupied is what he said we do as an analysis. I said, hi. See what a basic analysis this is. And he said, for that, I don't have to visit Walmart. He said, everything is done by artificial intelligence. He said, we get images of the parking. And he said, sometimes not all cars are also covered. Then shadow ka length. From shadows also that artificial intelligence software calculates that exactly not exactly, but approximately what could be the number of vehicles there, and if so many number of vehicles, so many families, then this could be the expected sale. This is going way beyond the imagination. So is this coming into picture? Yes, agreed. But to what extent, to what level, how it will be a game changer, I feel engineers are better. So please understand, it's don't feel that just because you are an engineer, whether you will be able to invest in stock market or not. In fact, you are the ones who can get to analyze the business angle better than us as far as engineering products are concerned. You would know artificial intelligence better than I know. So try to think realistically ki abhi if whatever you have analyzed about artificial intelligence, how has it impacted any business? You know about a specific sector which is using artificial intelligence? Like just as an example, one bank sector, and how artificial intelligence is being used in banking sector. Okay. Or even in banking sector, if you know that these days a score is generated, credit score is generated. What is that credit score known as? हाँ, क्रेडिट स्कोर में कुछ तो एक सिबिल रेटिंग वगैरह सुना आपने? सो लोन के लिए बोल रही हूँ ना मैं, लोन के लिए बोल रही हूँ मैं. हाँ, करेक्ट. सो सिबिल स्कोर इज द वर्ड. सिबिल tells you your score if you want to take a loan, and again this entire data is gathered through artificial intelligence only. अब ये डेटा, ये स्कोर मेरा बढ़ता कब है? एनीवन ऑफ यू who has not taken a credit card till date, you don't have a credit card. How many of you don't have a credit card? So your CIBIL score is 0. For you to get a loan, it might be a little bit tough. So first thing do is get a credit card once you start earning, and pay it on time. That's how you start building your CIBIL score. That's a credit score that you start building now. Okay. In India, taking a credit card is like, you have a credit card, you don't have money, is what we look at. It's a wrong perspective. Take a credit card, pay it on time. That's how you build your CIBIL score. And who does this? Again, artificial intelligence, building all that data. AI la na? See, that's what I'm telling. AI is something which is impacting many sectors, but we have to understand that how it will impact a business. It has to bring in some top line growth. So sales बढ़ना चाहिए तभी तो मजा आएगा ना. If sales increases through artificial intelligence, then I'm interested to check the artificial intelligence, how much expenditure they are putting on that and how much income is generated through that. Like my real brother works in IoT, Internet of Things, and he works in mainly IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things. He's heading a company right now. He's also a chartered accountant, but he's heading a company of IoT. It's a Kirloskar undertaking. And he said that we are analyzing so many things using IIoTs. So he said, just as a simple example, for those who don't know what is an IoT, even I'm not a master in that, but what he told me as an example, I can tell you for sure. Instead of a man interacting with a machine, now machine interacts with a man. So he said one IoT device was set up in a machine. There's a machine which is like 100 kilometers from here. I have a site under construction, and 100 kilometers from here, I've installed an IoT device in this machine. This machine is working. Let us say it's कुछ तो इसमें process चल रहा है. Okay. And it starts heating. Some process is going on inside that machine. This machine is heating. There should be the maximum level at which the heating should have taken place. Okay. Now the machine overheats. Could there be a chance that breakdown, possibility number one, possibility number two, if it hits a very high level, it could also maybe lead to a blast. So he said, the moment this machine overheated above the allowable level, a message was automatically sent to the head office that machine is overheating, need to switch off for some time. 100 kilometers away that machine is there, and that machine communicates to man that machine is overheating. Then from here they'll use some program through which they are shutting down the machine. And he said these days now aise bhi machines hai who will understand that, oh, I am overheating, shut down. This is again, I believe this is like आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का ही एक सब टाइप हो गया ना, that machine only understands what is happening. And he said that this is only used for industrial purpose. Now again, one more thing, I'm not interested in this. Will this lead to a increase in sales? Will this lead in increase in profitability? No, I'm not really bothered about this. What am I bothered about? How artificial intelligence is impacting my sales. I'll tell you a simple example, my own example. Okay, no artificial intelligence is being used, but data analysis is the key basically. And what happens is, I ideally do my data analysis, or artificial intelligence does the data analysis, correct? Right? So what I have observed is that basics of stock market lectures which I sell, I'm almost about to cross 1,000 people who have bought my lecture since April. Okay, then I tried to analyze the trend. I found that Saturday and Sunday the sale is highest. That's where people might be seeing my YouTube lectures. The moment they see my YouTube lecture, they may feel that let's try to place an order. Monday first half, 6 to 12, almost zero orders. Almost zero. These are the working people who are actually, उनका एक perfect analysis जमता है इसमें. So now understand, if I were to shoot some promotional message, okay, that buy Rachna Ranade stock market lectures, use this coupon code and get this much discount. If I were to shoot that message, that would be the right time, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Who did this analysis for me? Understand now, who did this analysis for me? In my case, I did my analysis, my volume is very small. 1,000 is still very small and manageable. For big companies whose number of products sold could be lakhs, 2 lakhs, by Jews, example. For them, they can't sit down on Excel and do this analysis. For that, they will use artificial intelligence, who will tell, okay, this is the time when sales are highest, and that is the time when promotional messages to be shot. Okay, now understand. Did this artificial intelligence ka use help my sales? This is I'm interested in. Will this increase my profits? Yes, this is what I'm interested in. Okay, so if you were to analyze artificial intelligence, you are an engineer, you would understand it better than me. Try to ask only one question. Is this going to impact the sales? If no, I don't think there's much point really analyzing it. Either sales or profits to a huge extent. Maybe artificial intelligence saves the cost. जो पहले इतना cost खर्चा करना पड़ता था, now only 20% cost will be required. Still makes sense. It has to have an impact on something. Hmm. Hmm. No, even I don't think so. Any pure robotics automation is listed on stock exchange. I'm not sure whether is there anyone? Pure AI, and I don't think pure artificial intelligence robotics if listed on the stock. Exactly. See, that's what. So again, I got your point. In short, I may say it's here right now. What is this? Did we discuss this? This is a life cycle, na? I feel AI is at this stage right now. So again, investing into it. So maybe you're talking about a company which is providing artificial intelligence. Is what you're talking about, maybe. Hmm? Okay. Okay. So okay. No, he is saying, so I got your example, maybe where Wipro, Persistent, Infosys, they are working on AI. Agreed. But he's asking that, is there a specific standalone company which is only into AI? So I'm not sure whether, I don't think if there is any companies like that. So all these big companies anyways, Infosys, TCS, they might be. I know. But then maybe Infosys and all these companies could shift gears if this technology really booms in the near future. Okay. Yes, I guess coming back to our main point, I was talking about uh, fourth point या fifth point हो गया था ना अपना industry analysis में, fifth point, correct? And the last point we'll take there for industry analysis. The last point is also consider the demographic factors. Demographic factors. You know what's a demographic factor? Yes. And when I searched about this, obviously I'll talk about India. I just got this data where 0 to 14 age group, we have 27.34% of our entire population. And if I'm talking about 15 to 24, I'll not talk about entire age group, but 15 to 24, it is 17.9%. Young crowd, young blood. Total is 44% of our total population. 44% is below 24, which is a sector which you can invest in. TikTok. And again one thing, you invest in that company and then government of India bans TikTok. No, on a serious note, you have to answer that pretty quickly. If you are in 0 to 24 with 44% of the population, there's just one sector you can think of immediately. That's education. Ideally, yes, that's what I'm doing. Correct. Because this is what is a demographic factor right now. Now I'll just tell you one more also, 25 to 54, because these are also working people who would want to learn more and get some more knowledge, maybe for their promotion. This is an alarming figure of 41.08%. This is the demographic situation of India right now. And now compare this. Now you are talking about entertainment. Still entertainment fits but into this category because this is a working population of India. And now with this, I'll tell you what works best is the consumption theme. We call this as a consumption theme. Consumption themes means what? See, why do we earn? To have a better living, to have a comfortable living. You know, in the initial phases of your career, you'll say, I want to save money, this, that. But at one point, once you cross maybe 30, 32, you'll feel that, okay, Excel sheet को ऐसे देखते बैठना है क्या दिन भर? I have 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees there, 20 lakh rupees there. You have to actually even try to have some good, feel good factor to आना चाहिए ना? That I'm earning so much, I'm spending, I'm enjoying my life also. So for that, now people are going to spend. They are going to spend more. So spend on what? Spend on housing? Yes. Spend on garments? Yes. Spend on entertainment? Yes. All these are, so we call that as a consumption theme. But think logically and tell me, consumption theme will work as a cyclical or a non-cyclical? As a cyclical again. Because if overall growth is high, then consumption is again going to be on a high. Agreed? Yes. So I feel we should know the demographic factor and we should plan accordingly. Okay. So I feel right now education is one sector when you might not be in a position, because there's only one education stock which is like a school which is as good as listed on the stock exchange. Treehouse education, if you have heard about that. Yes. Treehouse is listed, but it's not doing so well. But try to analyze certain companies which are into education. But I feel that this is an area which can give you good returns. Okay, or anything related to this. So now, see, what came to my mind first was education. Your analysis could be different also, no? Correct. So what I did was, when I was teaching only, I can actually very well tell this to you. See, image of teacher is that a teacher has to be poor, teacher has to be very straight and honest, and students namaste, and okay, teacher has to be humble, teacher has to be honest, teacher has to be ethical, but I don't think teacher has to be poor. I disagree. You're selling knowledge is a big charge which is put on us. ज्ञान को बेचते हो तुम? I feel that am I a real villain or what? You are ready to spend on movies? You are ready to spend on alcohol? You are ready to spend on anything and everything but education? Except education? Why? So I feel education is something which needs a change from the other's perspective to look at it. Education is everyone's right, agreed. There are many viewers on YouTube also. They say that you should release all your lectures on YouTube, free of cost for everyone. Then I said, if I have learned something, education or the knowledge is my intellectual property. I have earned it. मैंने मेहनत किया इसके ऊपर. I was not born with this knowledge, na? No one is born with any knowledge. I have worked day in and day out. I have read day in and day out. After my office hours, I have never worked in the stock exchange. Still, I have so much knowledge about, I will not say so much, at least little bit knowledge about stock exchange. And if I've earned that knowledge, I believe this is a product to be sold. You want free knowledge? So much knowledge is available free of cost, anyways, on Google. So many books are available free of cost. They are. So if you want to gain it, sure, it's free of cost, take it. Okay, but if it is the way someone is explaining, that is a USP. You can read, you can understand. मैंने जो कुछ भी बताया था, current ratio, debt equity ratio, free cash flows, Google, you will find everything on Google. It is the way I explained, maybe, that appealed. And if that be so, then I don't think that selling some knowledge, मैं कुछ पाप नहीं कर रही हूँ मेरे हिसाब से. Okay, and why I'm telling you this, why I thought about this. 10 years I was teaching only to CA. My first 10 years of my career I was teaching only and only to CA, exclusively, and that too major target was CA final. After 10 years, when I was more and more inclined towards something else I should do, something else I should do, and I was actually analyzing stocks for myself, and that is when I was doing this demographic analysis. And when this analysis came in front of me, I was like, which sector should be chosen? And I'll come to your point, but 0 to 24, which sector could be chosen? That was when I came, this can be education very well. And if no company is listed on the stock exchange which is doing so well in education, there are so many consumers, 44%. So नरेंद्र मोदी जी की वजह से एक फिगर तो सबके दिमाग में है, what is India's population? मेरे 130 करोड़ देशवासियों, ये तो बहुत बार सुना है आपने. Everyone knows the population by heart. So 130 crore divided by 2 roughly, that is the batch size, that is a target crowd. Even if 0.1% I can convert, that's a big number for me. This is how you have to do a demographic analysis. Correct? Second one was a complete turnaround from education. But yes, that is why the company is doing good. ITC, Indian Tobacco Company. It's ITC. Every time people feel that, but what government will do is that government will always put some, if you know this is the highest taxed product. Highest tax product. But people say that, it's okay na. The tax to lagta hi hai. But you are selling lectures? On cigarette tax is there, that is okay. But knowledge can't be so. This is the extremes that we have in India. Okay, but believe it or not, ITC, this is a cyclical industry or a non-cyclical industry, ITC? Compulsory non-cyclical. मेरे जेब में अगर 10 रुपए भी है ना, and if I'm addicted, I'll beg, buy, borrow, but I will fulfill my need. So this is a company which I feel does not have any death. It is going to survive through all ups and downs of the economy. Okay, so this can be a good or a fantastic stock for fundamental analysis. Everyone should do a fundamental analysis of ITC. A very few years it has given bad returns. Very few years. Okay. So have you understood how to analyze the industry as a whole? Okay. Demographic factor was the last one, which I feel was a little bit interesting. Something out, because we know about population of India, but we really don't check it out. Exactly kya position hai, kya nahi hai. So I hope I've covered all the points. Yes. I don't think I've missed out on anything. Right. So in the balance sometime, instead of directly jumping to economy analysis, I thought that the point he was telling, again I shifted on. Today we'll talk about 3-4 types wherein you have to do analysis specifically. Like if I'm talking about banks, then what is to be checked? Yesterday off the camera, one question was asked that someone was doing analysis of Shriram Transport Finance Corporation. Who was that? Shriram Transport Finance Corporation. It is an NBFC. And one of our 8 pointers is the free cash flow. Remember? Free cash flow, correct. Free cash flow is what? Operating cash flow minus net spent on fixed assets. Net spends on fixed assets. Correct. Do you think, Acha, what is the main function of NBFC? What does an NBFC do? Provide loans, accept deposits. It's a finance company. Like a bank only, na? NBFC is exactly like a bank. You know what is the difference between bank and NBFC? NBFC mein you can't open a saving account. Okay. NBFC stands for a non-banking finance company or a non-banking finance corporation. Okay. A simple difference between banks and NBFCs is that NBFCs don't have a banking license. And because they don't have a banking license, they are not allowed to put bank in their name. Whereas banks are mandatorily required to put bank in their name. ICICI, bank. HDFC, bank. Kotak Mahindra, bank. You name anything and there will be a bank. Because banking license hai aapke paas, you have to put bank in your name. And if I'm talking about NBFC, Shriram Transport Finance Corporation, Bajaj Finance, Muthoot Finance, Manappuram Finance, no one will have bank in their name. That's how you differentiate without even knowing anything else. They have the word finance. Okay. Now let us understand. Giving loans and accepting deposits is their main function. Agreed? Giving loans and accepting deposits is their main function. If they give a loan, will that be a cash inflow or outflow? Cash outflow. So let us say they have given 120 rupees in lakhs, crores, whatever. Itne ka outflow gaya. And accepting deposits is an inflow. And this is 100. Okay, so net cash, operating net cash is positive or negative? Negative 20. See, our normal thumb rule was operating cash flow is negative. Oh, bad sign. But what are the operations of this type of company itself is giving money and accepting money. So for them, if operating cash flow is negative, is this a bad sign? Is this a bad sign or no? No, this is not a bad sign. Own funds. Own funds तो कुछ तो रहेंगे ना. See, these are deposits का funds है. Let us say share capital is 200 ना. Original share capital is 200. So they might have taken some money from this. That is okay. They might have generated profits. Lot more than this they might have generated profits, which is there in the reserves and surplus. They might have given from that. So for a finance company, for even a bank, the operating cash flows might very well be negative because that is their main operations. No, don't calculate debt to equity ratio for banks. Because why do we calculate debt to equity ratio for others? To understand how much loan they have taken and how much own funds they have taken into account. This is for other than banks and NBFCs. So we have to write certain points now. Points for caution. Have you written any heading? Nothing, na? So you may say a separate heading is sector-wise key points to be considered. Sector-wise key points to be considered. No. This is not basics of industry analysis. We have shifted to a different point now. Correct? The first one. What title did I say? Sector-wise key points. Sector-wise dash key points to be considered. Write down number 1. Banks and NBFCs. Banks and NBFCs. Are we going to check debt to equity ratio or don't check debt to equity ratio? Don't check. Don't check debt to equity ratio. full stop. One more point to be considered here is what? Operating cash flows can be negative. Operating cash flows can be negative. मतलब क्या है आप ही बोलो. If it is continuously negative means what? They have given more loans and borrowed less. It's okay. They might be having their own funds. Their main business is only this. Na? In fact, I'll tell you ulta. If they are able to give only 40 rupees of loan and they have 100 rupees cash with them, क्या करूँ इसका मैं? If 100 rupees cash I have accepted as a deposit, I need to give interest to them. To give interest, I need to give loans. Then only I'll generate more income. Correct? So in fact, having more cash and disbursing less loan is a bad sign. Kya? So these are also, you have RBI circulars for that. I'll tell you, I got your point. There are RBI circulars on this, that how much maximum amount of loan you can give. And for that you need to know, there is something known as CRR. There is something known as SLR. Have you heard about these terms? CRR and SLR? Statutory liquidity ratio, and CRR? Cash reserve ratio. Correct, correct. So I'll discuss this in this same point only. Same point. So operating cash flows could be negative. Have you written this? Number 2, yes. Number 3, very important point again. We have taken inventory turnover ratio also, na? In that 8-pointer. Do you think inventory turnover ratio is, what do we say? Is not applicable, is relevant. Is it relevant or irrelevant? Irrelevant. कुछ होगा ही नहीं ना. That is why inventory turnover ratio for bank will be irrelevant. होगा ही नहीं inventory इनके पास. In infrastructure company, no inventory. Which company? Acha, L&T Technology Services, re. That's not an infra company. It's a tech company. Okay, one minute. Before I forget. Acha, I've talked about 3 points which need not be considered. What is important in a bank? Important points in bank is growth in CASA. Growth in CASA is very important to analyze a bank. And what is CASA? Because I'll tell you, many analysts will just say, CASA growth of HDFC is very good. You should buy into HDFC. I know what CASA. It's actually very simple. You laugh at it. That's not my short form. It's a very well accepted short form. It is current account, saving account. Let me repeat, this is not my short form. It's a very well industry accepted short form. CASA, current account, saving account. This is very important to analyze any bank. Why? If the growth in CASA is very good, is it good for the bank? And why? You'll get more money to give loans. Okay, the liquidity in the bank will increase. That is okay, but then even you could get more fixed deposits, na? That could also be good. Why current account, saving account only? So that is an important point. If there is a growth in CASA, what happens is that banks ke liye, is there a money inflow or outflow? For banks, there is a money inflow, and they can give this as a loan and earn interest. Good interest they can earn. Okay, if they are getting money through CASA, do they have to pay interest is the question. For current account, zero. And for saving account, it's as low as 4%. For loan, they will easily get at least 8.5%. Any basic loan also. 8.5%. Minimum, most I'm talking, minimum most, 9.5. Personal loan, don't even ask me. 12, 13, 14, limitless. बहुत ऊपर जाएगा. So now understand, if CASA growth is high, liquidity with the bank is high, they'll be in a position to lend more money. And what is their cost of raising funds? Very less. Cost of raising funds is very less. Getting my point? So if there is a higher CASA growth, it's a very positive sign for any bank. Okay. This leads to the next point, which is NIM. They say the NIM growth is whatever. NIM is net interest margins. So NIM growth, full form is net interest margins. And you will easily understand this because I told you the logic for CASA. Net interest margin. And what is the net interest margin? Tell me. Interest net. Uska margin. Correct. So I told you this is 8.5. This is 4. The net interest margin is 4.5. Okay, then they'll say on an average our NIM grew by this much. So let us say the loan increased, loan rate increased, but CASA is saving account is generally 4% only. Hardly it has increased over the few years. So higher NIM, good for the bank, bad for the bank? Good for the bank. So for banking, you have to check the NIM growth. Okay? And the third thing that is to be checked, which we have already discussed, NPAs. How much are the NPAs? Non-performing assets. Higher the better or lower the better? Lower the better. कहाँ मिलती है? In the annual report. NPA का भी in the annual report. All information you will get in the annual report. Is this okay? Yes. So 3 major parameters that have to be checked for a bank. Calculate क्यों करना है? वो तो सीधा मिल जाएगा आपको. NPA. Tomorrow, if you want, I'll show you one annual report also. I'll show you one annual report of a bank tomorrow, so that you will also get that feel that ये exactly कैसे होता है. Ideally, it should be as low as possible. You might check the percentage of NPA is to loan. ये एक रेशियो हो सकता है. और a loan to NPA. वो कितना ठीक है? There is no standard industry. Like we say debt to equity 2:1. वैसे there is no standard for that. Lower the better. That is it. अगर NPA, so if you can imagine, NPA to loan is 30:100. Means 100 rupees of loan given, 30 rupees recovery नहीं हो रहा है. Can I say that is a terrible sign for any bank? Absolutely terrible. Okay, so you should be very clear. This, don't let it go beyond 5 is also very high according to me. 5 is way too high. 2, 3 बहुत हो गया है. Even if you are saying 2, it means that your direct capital is only deteriorated, na? Your lending capacity is directly deteriorated. So lower the better. So what you can do is, again, जैसे हमने किया था PE versus industry PE. Right, what we had done, PE versus industry PE. Check the industry NPA and compare industry NPA with the bank's NPA. If bank's NPA is lower than the industry NPA, good. Understood? Yes. Now, so this was specifically for what? Banking sector. Okay, we'll move on to one more sector. Sector number 2. Okay. Any other, before I move on, any specific sector you want to know about? FMCG, fast moving consumer goods. Key ratio. We are discussing about key ratios. For FMCGs, the most important ratio, according to me, is inventory turnover ratio. You have to give. So if you remember, you were asking me the other day, ma'am, इसमें कुछ weightage होता है क्या? We had talked about 8 pointers. Any specific weightage on a specific point? That will change on industry to industry. So like for FMCGs, I'll give a 2 points out of 8 maybe, only for one ratio, that is your inventory turnover ratio. This is the most important for FMCG. Okay. Third one could be telecom. For telecom, a very common term which is used is ARPU. ARPU. And what is this? Anyone knows? Average revenue per user. If you want to write this down, ARPU is average revenue per user. What do we mean by average revenue per user? One user is generating how much of revenue? I'll tell you, standard for Airtel Idea earlier, it used to be around 300 ARPU. And then, so this is ARPU multiplied by what? Number of users. And then they would calculate their total revenue from, no, this is revenue. This is not profit. Revenue is top line, sales. इसमें से फिर all your costs will get decreased. So whatever is the revenue, let us say they are targeting like 1 crore, let us say revenues. So their turnover will be 300 crores. This was a very typical ratio for companies like Idea and Airtel. What Jio did? What Jio did? They said this should be 0 initially. We must focus only on one point, which is number of users. And they just went on increasing this base, free. And first time when Jio had come into picture, hardly any one of you might have believed that it will be such a super hit what it is today. Very few people might have thought about this. Their free strategy was a very amazing strategy because there are so many players who would give first free of cost. Then when they start charging, users will go away. A very common business failure. But he somehow positioned it so well that customers are still with him. Service that he is giving is very nice. And if you know this, they had started with 0 ARPU. They climbed up to just 30 rupees ARPU. And today they are somewhere around, what I read in one of the newspaper reports, they are roughly around at 40 ARPU right now. This is way below Idea and Airtel. Okay. And then in the same article, they have written that their current user base, it's an unbelievable figure, it's 30 crores. Out of 130 crore population of India, Jio has a user base of 30 crores. A mind-boggling figure. And still how much is their revenue? 1200 crore. And this is so lower than this average ARPU. And now you can just imagine, only 2 rupees of ARPU increased. They're going to go up by directly 60 crore, no? Up by 60 crore. Correct? This is the magic of your ARPU. The multiplier is only directly increasing, no? Correct? So if you are analyzing any telecom company, one big thing which is to be analyzed is ARPU, average revenue per user. Okay? One more sector, sector number 4, na, is infrastructure. In infrastructure, what you check is the order book. Order book. Where will we get this data? Everything you want to find in the annual report only. And we have the control F function. Just search order book. Okay. Achha, we do have L&T annual report. Wait. See, it's okay even if you don't know where it is located. Control F, order book. Group level performance overview. What are they saying? Achha, first shall I tell you what is you know what is an order book? Order book means how many orders they have on hand which are yet to be executed. Okay. It means has the revenue for these orders been booked or yet to be booked? It's yet to be booked because अभी तक तो सिर्फ order मिला है ना. I have not even started work for that. So is this a current revenue or this is upcoming revenue? Upcoming revenue. Okay. Now if you check this, the unexecuted order book as on 31st March 2019 stood at 2,93,427 crore rupees. So roughly 3 lakh crore we can say. Now wait, I'll show you their P&L now. 3 lakh crore tha na. Okay, and see what is the revenue from operations? Not even 1 lakh crore. And how can you interpret this now? आगे के 3 साल, even next 3 years, even if they don't get even one order, still they can sustain with the same level of turnover. Correct? For next 3 years, even they don't get 1 rupee ka order also, still they will be able to manage the same level of turnover only on executions. So higher the order book, you have a good future stability. Who validates these order books? That's the auditor. Auditor will check. See, it's the auditor's responsibility to check whatever information they are giving in the annual report like this, which will impact the shareholder's decision. He has to check the base for that whether this order book really stands at this value or not. So auditor is going to check that. Don't worry. Some pluses, minus, because see, order book means what? Is this just an estimate or it means that order actually has been received? So I'll tell you, there are many countries even outside, there are outside India jo countries hai. L&T is also doing airport projects for many Middle East countries. Some African country, recently they got an order. What do we mean by they got an order? It's a contract which actually they have received. It's not in there. You'll have to just check that actually this contract has been received or not. And who's going to check that? Auditor. We are not supposed to check that. If they're publishing this in the annual report, it means this is verified information. Have you understood the amazing part? What is an order book? Yes? Okay, I'll tell you order book. This book includes information on number of orders received, includes information on number of orders received, but which are, what will you write down? Executed or yet to be executed? Which are yet to be executed. Which are yet to be executed. Full stop. Higher the order book, good or bad? Good, they have a future sustainability. Okay, clear? So we can go on and on with each and every sector, but I guess I have told you 5 at least. So 5 is 4. Any other specific industry you want to know then? What was that? Consumer goods is FMCG, na? Again, fast moving consumer goods. We talked about FMCG, na? First only, we talked about FMCG. So many sectors. I'll tell you one minute. For automobiles, if you remember, I had told you that monthly data is released. We can write it here though, because we are talking about specific sectors right now, no? So write down automobiles. Dash. Automobile sector companies have to publish monthly data have to publish monthly data in the newspapers. Dash. This gives so full stop. This gives an idea of number of vehicles sold. This gives an idea of number of vehicles sold every month. See, I just went to money control and there's this Nifty 50. I clicked on Nifty 50. Here you will see all the 50 companies. See, if I press here view all, then it will show me all 50 companies on Nifty. And everywhere they'll also put the name followed by the sector. So you had asked me the question, how many sectors are there? For this, you can check it. So like infrastructure, paints and varnishes, banks, auto, finance, leasing and hire. See, we have taken examples of all these by now. Sorry, how to go to this page? On the home page, you have Nifty 50. Click on that. This page opens. See, finance, telecommunication equipments, food processing. This is also fundamentally a very strong stock. Britannia. Okay, food processing could be like FMCG again. A simple analysis. I have told this in basics of stock market class also. How many of you have never eaten a Marie biscuit? In this entire class, no one. Okay, and such strong presence Britannia has in India. I don't think there is any death phase for Britannia in the near future at least. If you don't scare buying biscuits of Britannia, buy one share of Britannia at least. No? Try buying it. And next time, whenever you go to a shop and buy Marie biscuit, I am buying my own company's biscuit. Get that feeling. I'm contributing to the sales of my company. Okay. So this is a company which is there in almost every household. At least try it with these. It's an expensive stock, no doubt about that. It's almost 2,500 plus stock. Still, this has corrected a lot, by the way. बहुत नीचे है. It had almost touched 5,000. Eicher Motors, don't ask. It has gone way too high. Personal care, again HUL. HUL is again a hot favorite. Hindustan Unilever. Your ITC. So, oil के लिए what will be important? Oil and gas, crude oil. Crude oil, global price is very important for them. For oil and gas sector. Refineries. Why they will not be in losses anytime? Okay, that's a big discussion. I'll tell that tomorrow maybe how HPCL, BPCL and all they operate, because at least 10-15 minutes will be required. First, we'll just write down, because we are now again almost at time end. We'll just write down crude oil prices. Oil and gas. Crude oil prices and government policies, both. Crude oil prices and government policies affect the profitability of this sector. Okay, and if you were to just know about the just get to know about how these work and how, because I have to explain exactly how government policies also impact. Because if a government gives a subsidy, right now if you know, there was a government subsidy given on petrol, and this hit was to be borne by HPCL and BPCL. If you know this, some 1 or 2 rupees subsidy per liter was given by Government of India. Government of India said we will reduce this much price. For us it was a good thing, but who is going to bear that loss? HPCL and BPCL. So for them it was a very bad sign. Okay, so how it happens, how these crude oil prices expand, it's a big discussion again. If time permits, definitely we'll take it tomorrow. Okay. Is there any? Not really. I'm not sure. I mean, if there is any document. No, you can just Google out that how much subsidy was given and what. For this tomorrow, whenever actually I was going to cover up entire macroeconomics today, which I was not able to at all. But this is a very good website which I refer to many times. If you just were to write this as an introduction, give the heading as economy analysis, which we will do tomorrow. We might have to extend our batch tomorrow, maybe by, I'm not sure. Let's see how much time permits. Okay. So give the heading, most important website for macroeconomic is www.tradingeconomics.com. Trading economics, you can see here on the screen also, tradingeconomics.com. So you see so many points in the home page only. What is the GDP growth rate? What is the unemployment rate? What is the inflation rate? What is the interest rate? CRR, balance of trade, current account to GDP, government budget, business confidence, manufacturing PMI. Just goes on and on. So many parameters just at one shot. And the references are also pretty late. 2019 ke references hai. Okay, so you'll get a good update on this. I'll tell you what all these points mean exactly and how we can do the analysis. We'll do that tomorrow. Okay, we'll stop for the day. Bye bye.